big, beautiful, loving planet called Earth. So I've ran through like a bunch of ideas of what this vlog could be. I could have talked about things that I love in life, whether it was things in the past or things today or things that I could potentially love in the future. But then I realized that I've already kind of done that like several times. And another idea that ran through my head was to talk a little bit about how far I've gotten in the Crime and Punishment book. But I've already kind of beat that into the ground. This one stuck out to me above all those other ideas I had, which is, what are my favorite eras of the Taylor Swift that she's been performing for 17 years? Or not 17 years, but over the course of her music career that she's been part of. And then I realized something. After going to see the Eras Tour movie in theaters yesterday, I came across this idea that should I talk about the two eras that are kind of my favorite, and what part should they play in my life, if any? It doesn't necessarily mean they have to play a part in my life, other than the fact that one of them is the year that we were born. We were both born in 1989, and that one is up there at the very tippy top of all of the eras that she's done. Now, don't get me wrong. All of the eras that she's ever done in her music career have been amazing. I mean, I can rattle off all of her albums. There's Red, there's Reputation, there's 1989, there's Midnights, there's Fearless, there's Speak Now, there's the acoustic versions, or acoustic era. There's just so many eras that she's gone through, and at some point I'm going to have all of her albums. There's Evermore, there's Folklore, there's all of those. But the two that are at the very tippy top of that list for me is 1989 and Midnights. Now, I have not heard every single album that she's released, but I've heard a lot of them. Probably every single one of them except for maybe one or two. I mean, she did just re-release the 1989 album of making it Taylor's version and whatnot, and at some point I'm gonna listen to that. I mean, and let me be honest with you, I want to get the three albums that I don't have, even though I've listened to every single one of her albums except for, I believe it's Evermore. I've listened to and the new version of the 1989 that just released. I don't know if it was last week or if it's this week. I think it was on Friday that she released that, but I'd have to go and double check on that in a minute here. But the fact is that those are my top two albums that she's ever released. Now, the re-releases are great too. The ones that she's re-released, like Red, she re-released Red, she re-released Fearless, and there was one other album that she re-released. I can't remember what it is now, but all I'm saying is that if I were to ever have a party, some sort of a party, I think those two eras would be the top two that I would like to have as a theme for the 1989 era and the Midnights era. Those would be the top two that I would like to have as a theme for a birthday party for my own, whether it be my 35th next year, my 40th, or even my 50th. Which, just so happened, before I do the outro, I did add in the description yesterday, I don't know if anyone saw it, that I added my the countdown to my 50th birthday on there. Now, I know 50 is still 15 years away, or 15 and a half years away, but I still added it to the list. I mean, it's just important to me at this point, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted you guys to understand that I am a Swiftie, even though I don't have every single album of hers on in a disc form, but I do have almost all of them on digital. And I mentioned that before. Now I don't have any posters of hers, and I don't have any, you know, bracelets that, you know, individuals may have, or merch, whether that be T-shirts or vinyl or posters or CDs or any of that stuff. But I do have a lot of the stuff that she's released on digital. And I've seen a few of her documentaries in her life, whether it was Miss Americana, and a few other musical documentaries about her. And I'm subscribed to her YouTube channel as well. She has like 460 videos on her channel. Now I still have a whole lot of other YouTube channels before I can even think about getting to her channel. But we're not gonna talk about that in today's vlog. So we got a couple of birthdays to wish today, so let's just dive into that. I want to wish Bailey Madison a happy birthday, and I would like to wish Grace Van Dyne a happy birthday today as well. And that does it for birthdays today. And we're almost at the halfway point of October. So there's only like 15 and a half days, or not, a little more than 15 and a half days, like maybe 15 days, 14 hours, or something like that, before the end of October. And Halloween's fast approaching. Now, everyone has a love story that a real, honest, true love story that exists out there in the world. And I'm not saying, you know, it's going to be an easy journey to get to that point. But there is a famous actress, famous model, famous YouTuber, famous singer-songwriter / musician, anything other than porn star, because I will never date a porn star. But there are, you know, famous individuals out there in the world that I would have to do a little bit of research, and that's all it would be, is research, that I could potentially date at some point in my life. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Taylor Swift. I'm not saying it's going to be Selena Gomez or anyone like that, but it could at some point. I mean, and it's not just those two that I just listed. There's a million of them, or not a million, but there's a lot of famous celebrities out there in the world, in all different genres of celebritydom. Whether it's a YouTuber, whether it's a swimsuit or an Instagram model, whether it's a singer-songwriter, whether it's an actress, whatever it is, anything but a porn star. I will, like I said before, I will not date a porn star ever in my life. Anyways, I will see you tomorrow with a brand new vlog, and bye-bye.